Today I'm doing an unboxing. I bought myself a new guitar. So I got it from Sweetwater. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what it is. I remember buying guitars without boxes. This one's heavy. This guitar is not heavy though, so it's gotta be mostly case, I'm sure. All right, so the first thing you'll probably notice is it's a Fender case. So this is a guitar I've been wanting for a little while. It's been on the radar. Nice. Little card, I'll show you guys in 1 second. This guitar does not feel like the weight that they say it is. Well, maybe it's not that bad. There it is. Setup is horrible. Action is high. Really high. Wow. So let's get a pick. Wow, it's like unplayable. It's a little bit of workout. No joke, I played $100 guitars come out of the box better than this. I'd rather they keep their candy and just take a few more minutes with the guitar. So what is it? It's a Fender American Professional Deluxe Telecaster. Alder body, maple neck, rosewood fretboard. Standard Fender tuning keys, which I'm not a fan of. They're okay. Micro tilt truss rod. 2 Tim Shaw humbuckers. 2 volumes, 2 tones, like a Les Paul 3-way switch up on the top, like a Les Paul hardtail bridge with individual saddle adjustments. Wow, I mean, this is so horrible. I want to do an unboxing, and I've done a lot of unboxings, so you know, where I pulled them out and I was like, okay, I'll push through, and then I'll just set it up to my liking. And I'm not, so I don't want to confuse anybody. I have a way I like my guitars to play. That's not what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Why did I buy it from Sweetwater? Let's talk about that. Sweetwater, I went. They had the weight posted. I emailed them, said, what's your best price? The guitar was $14.50. They said $12.50. $12.50 shipped. Saved $200. So let's listen to it. Okay, so let's tune this sucker up. Wow. No, that's not cut correctly either. That's why I jumped just now. It's kind of stuck in there. Sometimes I don't like to do unboxings because I like to take the guitars, take some time, set them up, and give you an opinion of how I like the guitar when it's all done. But sometimes I think it's just as insightful to show you how I react to things when I first get them and what I do. There's some volume on this thing. Okay, here we go. Because the action being so high and the pickups being set in the weirdest positions really low, I think that's why also there's not a lot of attack coming from this. The pickups are really distant. The neck pickup is almost flush with the body, and the strings are, well, I'd say a 1/4 inch, not quite a 1/2 inch. I mean, it's a significant distance from the strings to the pickup. Okay, let's get some overdrive on this. Well, it has what I was hoping it would have. It has that big Les Paul, huge sound. You know, another problem with this guitar, it's got tooling marks on the fretboard. Like you can see, they're like, I don't know, just very disappointing. Okay, so what I want to talk about is the nut and what I was talking about. The slots need to be widened just a little bit. That's what was causing some of these strings to stick. But the high E You can see it's very shallow, and that's why when you're looking at it, it's very hard to see, but you see it's higher than this string. So when you're making a bar chord, it was really tough, the distance between the top of the fretboard to the nut. Again, you can cut that, slot that in. Just a little bit of work on the nut, and this thing would be dialed in just a few minutes. But that's not the entire only issue with the guitar. The second issue, come this way, is how high the strings are from the fretboard. They are really high. Again, we need to straighten the neck a little bit, maybe make some adjustments. This is the pickup I was showing you that is really low. You can see the travel is just really, really bad. So just a quick, it needs a setup. That's basically it. And I know Sweetwater doesn't claim to do a setup on the guitars. They claim to do a inspection. But the issue was the nut kind of threw me off. But there's another problem with the guitar, and that's this neck. This neck feels really thick and huge. And I was like, well, maybe it's me, but I would have swore I've played this exact guitar a ton of times. I didn't remember the neck being so cut so deep like this. You know, in other words, it's really thick, this distance between the top of the fretboard and the back of the neck. And apparently I was right, because that's not how it should feel. And so a lot of this actually has to be with this particular guitar coming from Fender. I don't know if this is, the 2018 has a slightly thicker neck. I didn't see anything where Fender had mentioned that they had made the neck thicker, but it's definitely a bigger, thicker neck. So while I was editing this video, I was kind of getting bummed out. I really wanted this guitar. This was a guitar I put on the wish list for a while, at least a year. You know, something I wanted, a humbucker telly. So I went down to the Guitar Center that's by my home. I don't know what I was looking for. I was hoping they would have a new one. Maybe I could put my hands on it to see, am I crazy? And they didn't have a new one, but they had a used one. This one. So the first thing I noticed was the neck felt exactly what I was anticipating the other one to feel like. Very familiar to the American Professionals I already own. Now, the funny thing about this is a 2016, which my main American Professional Strat is a 2016, and the necks are identical in the carve. It's not as thick as the new one. There's a couple issues with this one as well, and I thought I'd share them with you. The first thing is it is used, so take that into account. The employees didn't seem to know if it had a case or not. That was a little confusing. They eventually found the case for it. But the funny thing about the case is, in the case is a receipt that this guitar was purchased at Milano's Music just 2 years ago for the same price they sold to me used. Somebody bought this guitar new for the same price I paid for it used. But I want to give Sweetwater credit for this. I paid $43 more for this used one than Sweetwater sold me a new one for. Now, I think that doesn't have to do with Guitar Center. The Guitar Center that I go to in Mesa is horrible. I think it's the worst Guitar Center of the entire chain. I think the manager at the store, maybe, I don't want to pigeonhole the manager, but somebody at the store likes to price the used gear very high. In fact, every time I go in that store, their gear is priced way higher than the company's website is priced. If I find something on their website, let's say they'll have 5 guitars for about $500 used on their website, I go in there and they're asking $650 to $700. However, this one has an issue too, and I'm not sure what I think about it. One of the dots, actually this dot right here, is raised for the neck drying out, and now this is lifted out. So when you're bending, you're kind of hitting the edge of that clay dot. That is something I can fix, just like the other guitar. I can definitely fix that. At least the nut's cut correctly on this one. The only thing is, this guitar is muddier sounding than the other one. And in fact, it's kind of depressing. The other one sounds a little better. This one feels a little better. I thought I was going to stick with this one, but sadly enough, my problem is, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. Put in the description down below, what do you guys think? There is concerns also with this one. There's a lot of cracks. I don't know if it'll come in the camera. There are a lot of cracks in the finish from the grain lifting. That is real common with guitars, especially from Fender. I'm just not in love with this one, so this is going to go back too. And sadly, if this one goes back, I think I'm done with this model as a whole. I just don't know if I want to invest time and money into this. When you pay $1,200, $1,300 for a used guitar, I don't know if I want to shove another $200 into it. That's kind of how I felt the other one. I don't know if I want to shove an afternoon into fixing that one up. When I'm not getting good product at that price point, I feel like I'm not doing myself justice. In fact, The Squire I picked up like this was better, and now I'm looking at the Schecter made in Korea version of this as a very good alternative to having this tone and sound. I like Fender a lot, but I don't know if I'm willing to give them, you know, $1,200 for subpar. Sadly enough, neither guitar worked out, so I'm going to get my money back for both. I'd like to thank Sweetwater for having such an easy return policy. I didn't even mention anything that was wrong with the guitar. I just said I'm not loving the guitar. They sent me an RA for it. That was easy. Guitar Center should be equally as easy to deal with when returning this. I just explained to them the clay dots lifted and I'm not loving it. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me this week, and as always, know your gear.